Hello everyone. So before I start, as you can tell, or maybe not, I'm in a different location and I'm in my sister's room, and it's because I'm currently getting my room painted and the floor's done. So yeah, so hopefully the lighting isn't like too off because there's like a window here and I can't film over there because there's so much stuff. Like there's a desk, there's a lot of stuff happening here. All right, so I want to let you guys know 3 podcasts that I've been currently listening to, and I recommend you guys listening to these 3 that I'm going to tell you guys in a minute, because personally it really helped me like emotionally. Like every time I was like feeling sad or I wasn't having a good day, I listened to these 3 and they helped me out so much. Now these 3 podcasts, they're drastically different. They range from like self-help to like crime. That's how different it is. Okay, so for the first podcast is Live Your Life Queen, and it's hosted by Jessie Buttafuoco. I don't know if you guys know her, but she used to do another why can't I speak? And I don't know if you guys know her, but she used to do another podcast with Shane Dawson called Shane and Friends, and it was really entertaining. And I was so happy when I found out that she's doing another podcast. She did another one previously, but personally, hopefully it isn't rude, but I wasn't drawn to that one. But the one she's doing recently, Live Your Life Queen, I love so much. It's basically she reads viewers' comments and listeners. She reads listeners' comments. That sounds actually weirder. She reads people's emails that they sent her. So people send her problems and she reads them, and her co-host Chelsea, also producer, give them advice. And what I love about this podcast is that she makes it really entertaining, and she can make it serious, but like she makes it entertaining, funny, but also very serious. She knows how to mesh it together, which is amazing. And sometimes these problems get really dark and I'm like, oh my god, what is her advice to this person? And she's really good at it. She also mentions that she's not a therapist. For me, when I'm listening to this podcast, it's really interesting how people live their lives. I'm like, wow, this person's going through that. I hope they're okay. And sometimes readers update what happened, and so far it's been good, so that's good to hear. And I also love how she goes in a tangent and she changes the subject every time. I don't know, I like that about her. So yes, I strongly recommend you guys listening to this podcast. I'm gonna try to link everything down below just so you guys could easily subscribe to it or follow. It's called subscribe, right? Every platform has a different name. I don't know, but yeah, I'm gonna link it down below. So the next podcast I strongly recommend you guys listening to is called Crime Junkie, and it's hosted by Ashley Flowers and Brent. The premise of the podcast is they read out cases of murders, and most of the time they're not solved, which is fascinating. And you can tell that they really love what they do because they go so in depth and they research and find every information possible. And I don't listen to them a lot because after a while I start to get paranoid. I'm like, I need to lock the door because I don't know, someone's gonna kill me or something like that. But I do listen to it like at least once every 2 weeks because 1, it's really good, but 2, I'm like, I get paranoid. I get like kind of scared or more cautious, I don't know. And the podcast usually runs 40 to an hour. Every time I went to work, I would listen to their podcast, and for me, time would go so fast because usually it would take me 40 minutes, sometimes an hour to get to work. And playing them, it helped me a lot, and I was so in the zone. Like I mentioned before, they were so detailed, they had so much information that I was invested in the story that they presented. If you like dread going to work or just don't like traffic, this is a podcast for you. I didn't dread going to work. It makes it sound that I hated work, but no, traffic was kind of you know, kind of not my favorite. LA traffic sucks. But yeah, I recommend you guys listening to this podcast. So last podcast is, and I strongly recommend you guys listening to this one if you're like kind of stuck in life and need a little bit of a push or just an advice, and is Over It and On With It, hosted by Christine Hassler. She is a life coach who helps people with their problems. Every single episode, a person calls in and they talk about their problems and she helps them out. And not only does she help them out, she gives them tools which the listener, like us, can actually practice as well. And one time I started getting like not panic attacks, but like my heart started to beat, and I started to get like shortness of breath. I don't know what that's called, maybe panic attack, I don't know, but I was getting really nervous for no reason at all. I'm like, why is this happening? I don't understand. And I started listening to her, and one of the episodes that I listened to, she recommended the caller to breathe and to basically touch your heart and touch your stomach and just say, I am safe, I am safe. And that honestly helped me so much. I'm so grateful that she gives out tools so the caller and the listeners could use for their everyday life and when they're starting to freak out for no reason, like me. Yeah, I strongly recommend you guys listening to this if you guys also want tools just to help you out. And each caller has something different, and she's really good at dissecting what's wrong with them. Not what's wrong with them, what's holding them back. She's really good at asking questions and knowing what's holding them back. She's really good at what she does, and I strongly recommend you guys listening to her podcast. So yeah, I think that covers it. Hopefully I convinced you guys to listen to these podcasts. It'll definitely help you in life because it helped me personally. And just to let you guys know, all of these podcasts are free, and just gonna link the ones that I use, which is like the Apple one. And yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and hopefully it convinced you guys to start listening to podcasts if you haven't listened, or to listen to something new. And if you currently are listening to a podcast and you want me to know about it, leave it in the comments, please. So yes, that is it for this video. Like this video if you like this type of content, and subscribe for more. And yeah, I'll see you guys next week. Bye everyone.